Doing a shootout with like two different guitars is always the worst because I feel like I'm supposed to hold them both the whole time. There we go. Hello friends, my name is Austin, and if this is your first time seeing my face joining us on the channel, I would encourage you guys to go over to the subscribe button and just click that. It helps me out a lot on the back end. And the other thing, so I'm going to have two links in the video description down below for a PRS SE Silver Sky and for the Fender Player 2 Stratocaster. If you guys have been in the market for one of these and this video pushes you over the edge one way or the other, I'd appreciate if you used my affiliate links to make your purchase. Last thing is I'm over on TikTok. I spent a lot of time on TikTok. Give me a follow if you're over there. I like to think I'm a pretty fun follow, but let's talk about what I truly believe are the best mid-price Strats that you can get right now and which one of them is better. So a lot of this video is going to be sounds, right? I took like a good, decent amount of time playing both in neck pickup, position 4, bridge pickup, the Strat positions that lots of people use all the time. So a lot of this is going to be you hearing both back to back, right? With a good clean channel and like a good dirty tone. But first and foremost, let's just kind of do Cliff Notes version, go over the specs of each. This is a Fender Player 2 Stratocaster in coral red, which I think is a really cool color. So first and foremost, you have a medium C-shaped neck. You have a rosewood fingerboard. You have vintage style tuners. As far as the neck profile goes, I'd say it's really nothing new to report. It's very much a Fender medium C, where it's on the slimmer side, but nothing that you'd consider like shreddy Ibanez-y D territory. I would say on the skinnier side of a medium C. What you do get on this, though, you get the rolled fingerboard edges, which Fender started doing for the Player 2 line, which makes the frets feel very well done, and it makes the neck play just beautifully, man. It fits in your hand like a glove that you've been wearing for a decade. We talked about the very pretty coral red color. This comes in some really cool colors. Another one that looks really good is called birch green. Feel free to, use my affiliate links to check them out. What I like the touch that they did with going with a faded kind of ivory cream looking for the pickup covers. I think it works with the red really well. Same thing with the knobs and the switch, but nothing new to report down here. You have a 2-screw tremolo instead of the 6. 2-screw trems on both of these, but normal Fender radius 9.5. As far as the pickups go, they are Alnico 5 pickups. Fender doesn't go into a ton of detail on them, but these are very much the new standard pickups out of the Mexican factory. What I can tell you is they're very good. I would say they feel like a significant upgrade from the first Player series. They feel like really clear, very ringy, glassy. They feel and sound like exactly what you want out of a Stratocaster set of pickups. I forgot to mention 25 and a half inch scale length, which everybody knows, but hey, just so you know. Moving on to the Contender. The Contender, we have Paul Reed Smith SE Silver Sky. I forgot to mention price on these. They're really about the same price. I mean, I think the Fender is $899 and these are $849, I think. Don't quote me on that. Links will be down below. But they're in the ballpark of like being priced right around each other, right? So let's talk about the Silver Sky. Over here, you have the Paul Reed Smith headstock. You've got their vintage style tuners, which, I mean, kind of, inspired by the other one, right? Except for the weird plasticky tuning knobs, which I'm not the biggest fan of just because they feel whatever, but they work fine, man. They both stay in tune great. So equal. This is letting you know that the guitar was made in Indonesia, while the other one was made in Mexico. You have rosewood on this as well. Frets on this feel great. Fingerboard feels slightly rolled, just like the Player. Maybe not as much, but a tiny bit. It does not feel like a right angle on your hands. Frets feel very well done. Pretty piece of rosewood. rosewood. You have your birds instead of the dots. Here's where we start getting into different territories, right? This neck is 100% totally different from the Player 2 neck. This neck is Chunky Monkey. It is, spec'd after John Mayer's, I think, 64 custom shop, which, it's funny, all the 60s Fender throwbacks or reissues nowadays, they don't have these same necks that the early 60s Fenders had, which were fat. But this has a fat neck on it. Still a C shape, but a very girthy, fill your hand out kind of shape. And satin finish on the back instead of the kind of, well, actually, wait a minute. Yeah, there's kind of what feels like a light lacquer on the back of the Player 2. This is satin, feels like a good satin, but the neck definitely bigger. Now we get into difference number 2. Difference number 2 is the fretboard radius. So weirdly enough, on the Silver Skies, for the American ones, they went with a 7.25 fretboard radius. If you don't know what this is, go watch my video on fretboard radius and explaining it like for dummies. Not that any of you were dummies, but just it was me explaining it in like a super simple way. But on the American Silver Skies, they went with a 7.25 fretboard radius, which is like the vintage Fender radius. They didn't do that for the SEs, for the import model. This is 8.5, weirdly enough. So I think, they figured that more people were going to be buying these and less vintage gear people were going to be buying these, more, normal people. And not that you guys aren't normal people if you're into the vintage thing. But this is a little closer to the normal Fender fretboard radius. You can feel a difference when you're getting way into the bends. You can feel this one wanting to choke itself out a little better. You kind of have to massage your notes a little bit when you're getting way into the bends. But outside of that, they feel kind of similar, but I will say, if you're paying attention, you'll notice a difference, even though it's only 1 inch. This color is piano black, also known as black. And, it's the same controls down here. The 2-point trim, like I said, where you're going to notice another difference, and this might be a feel thing, it's going to be interesting for me to go back and watch these back to back, because these pickups feel different than the other pickups. If I'm just throwing adjectives out there, man, these are smooth and they're darker than what I'm used to on a Strat. And they're really well rounded, slightly compressed. Like everybody talks shit about, ceramic pickups on Fenders. Man, I've never disliked ceramic pickups. They just have a little less wild of a sound, more focused. And that's what these feel like, is they're going after a very specific Stratocaster tone, and I think they do it really well. Also, I think the bridge pickup on this really kind of shines in that it feels focused. It's less painful to your ears. They really toned down a Strat bridge pickup in a really productive way, I think. So, we're going to listen back to back. It's going to be a couple minutes of audio, and then I think, I guess I have to pick a winner, which I don't want to, but let's listen. Boss Katana 100 head going into my orange 2x12 with Celestion Vintage 30s, so a good neutral speaker. The only other stuff I have going on is I have reverb on the floor, and then the drive you're hearing is going to be coming from a Boss BD2 Blues driver. And I think that's it. Okay. So this is going to be what I hope is kind of a collaborative video, right? So it seems like a lot of my subscribers on here have carried over from TikTok. So you guys have been watching my stuff for like a little while, and I really, really appreciate it. But I need your help with this one. Like, in all seriousness, I like both of these guitars a lot. I think they're both value for money. Yes, you're getting close to $1,000, but dude, these are just world-class instruments. With like a little tweaking of the EQ, I would put these up against any Fender custom shop. I don't know what more you could ask for outside of aesthetics in a Strat. They're both so good. So I'm gonna need help in the comment section because I want to hear what you guys were hearing as far as similarities, differences between the two. Because at this point, man, we're nitpicking, but they're so different, which is what's throwing me with this, is that they both sound so good. They both play so good. If you're shopping for one or the other, what I would tell you, the Paul Reed Smith comes in some like wacky fun colors. They come in a really good gold, a really good silver. I think it's called platinum now that they just released through Sweetwater. These are very like 60s American automotive. So both come in really cool colors. Honestly, dude, I would shop around. I would get a feel for if you like a thinner neck. Again, this is not skinny, but this is on the thinner side of a C, or a fat neck, and look at the colors and pick your favorite. Because they're both so good, man. They both play so good. If I'm really nitpicking for like what things I can hear, the Fender feels a little more metallic and maybe has a little more attack when you're picking, so you probably could get a little more. Granted, if you have a compressor on your board, then that'll kind of get rid of a lot of it, but there's more attack. But then on the other side of the coin is that makes the PRS smoother in what you're playing. So, you know, we're doing these hands, right? Except for two things, which are neck shape and color. And I feel bad leaving you guys with something as subjective as neck shape and color, but I think I'm gonna have to. So that's all I got for the week, everybody. Like I said, let me know in the comments, do you have one of these? Which do you prefer? What did you hear in the sounds that we heard today? So that's all I have for the week, everybody. I'm not getting rid of either of these. I like them both. I frankly just like looking at both of them. So until next time, I will see you guys later.